Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA, episode 273. I am Brendan. All right, UFC Fight Night, Albazi versus Kara France. We're going to take care of the prelims here, right? So if you're looking for the main card, the main event, that's in the last video. This is going to be Santos, Munoz, and the rest of the prelims. All right, real quick, before we get started, we're going to dive right into these fights. Subscribe to the channel if you like these kinds of things. You like fight breakdowns. That way you know the next video is coming out, and it helps me out too. I'd super appreciate it. Let's get into it. Daniel Santos taking on Johnny Munoz. Fun fight. Fun interaction, especially the first round. The first round was very fun. After that, it got a little stale. A lot of repetitive, a lot of repetitive positions and a lot of repetitive action, I guess you could say. Extremely hard nut shot from Santos to start the fight. It's hard to say whether or not this affected the fight, but Munoz did post in the hospital bed afterwards, his urine being red from the blood. So clearly it affected him. It's a really hard nut shot. It was bad. It was immediately as the fight started. Munoz pulled guard to get to the body triangle from the bottom. Munoz went for an armbar, and then he landed like 4 up kicks, and then he got a deep triangle attempt. Munoz landing kicks from the to the knee from his back. Santos was walking him down, landing hard kicks. Munoz pulled guard again. Santos probably did more damage in this first round, but you could give it to Munoz for the subs. I gave it to Santos 10-9. If you look at the total striking numbers here, they actually favor Munoz 8-7 for significant strikes. But Santos was on top for that control time, and there was only one legitimate, I guess, submission attempt from Munoz, being close with that triangle. So, giving this round to Daniel, I gave this round to Santos. And then the second round is kind of the story for the fight. Second round comes in, Munoz is on his back, and Santos landing shots pretty much the whole round. 20-18. There's nothing else to say here. 29 strikes to 6. He was on top of him. And then this last round, another low kick to the nuts from Santos. He gets a point deduction from it, but it's not enough for him to win the. Munoz didn't do enough to win the round, so he loses the round. It turns out to be a 9-9. That means it's 29-27 on my scorecard, and that is how all Tony Weeks. Great. That is how all 3 judges saw it. So I agree with the judges there. Makes sense. Santos looks pretty good. Munoz was, I don't know if he was compromised from that early nut shot and he was just trying to pull guard because he didn't feel comfortable standing on the feet. That could be. There could be a lot of reasons. Could just been his game plan to begin with, and then it was successful early on, and he kept going to the well thinking he could catch him again, and he just didn't get it. That's the end of that one. Andrei Arlovski taking on Don'Tale Mayes. Fun fight. Well, this one lasted too. So Andrei Arlovski, I don't need to gush over him again. I've done it enough times. I think the way he's extended his career is incredible. I'll say, this is a spiel that I say. If you guys have heard me say it before, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but Andrei Arlovski has done a phenomenal job extending his career, staying safe, and doing a veteran, like a true veteran tutorial for the past 7 years. Mayes with a long lead hook and looking to land at range. Arlovski dodging shots and landed a right hand to rock Don'Tale as he ran by. Arlovski landing a straight right to the body. Mayes trying to run him down. He's just missing real bad. First round, Arlovski landed twice with the left hook. Again, Mayes landing with the right hand right before the end of the round. That staggered Arlovski just a little bit. But this first round, more of the shots came from Arlovski. Did more damage, 14-8 for significant strikes. I gave him that first round 10-9, but it doesn't really matter because in the second round, they start going back and forth. Mayes was leading with the head, bashing into Andrei Arlovski. Did that once. Arlovski landing one leg kick, making Mayes changed stance. I thought he was going to go to that leg kick more often because it clearly affected Mayes, but it didn't matter because, like I said, Mayes ends up landing. Arlovski landed a great combo, but then Mayes landed a right hand, and Arlovski dropped down. Arlovski's never had a good chin. It's a testament to his abilities and his skill that his career's lasted this long, and he's been as elusive as he has been in the past couple of years. And I know, going into each one of his fights, it's probably not going to be the most exciting. It's probably going to be a drawn-out, technical, striking battle. But that being said, his story of him having, over 40 fights in the UFC is just incredible. How long he's done it at heavyweight, which is crazy. It just doesn't happen. So good on him. Great win for Mays. You know, that's the thing too, is like there's no upside to fighting him. You beat Arlovski and you get this like name on there that which people know like, oh, this doesn't mean what it used to. But then, you know, you lose to him and it's like, oh, well, you're not ready. So he is by definition like the gatekeeper. John Castaneda taking on Muin Gafurov. Let's see. Gafurov looking for the takedown, just couldn't get it. Gafurov throwing hard shots, spinning heel kicks, and an axe kick. Gafurov was trying to end the fight with every single shot. And then attempting a takedown after that. Castaneda was finding his moments in between the craziness, landing nice left hands, some low kicks. Castaneda landed a left head kick, and Gafurov went down in this first round. Gafurov could have won the first round, but he got dropped. So I had it 10-9 for Castaneda. If you look at the striking numbers here, 21-18 in favor of Gafurov. But because he got knocked down, you know, those 3 extra shots that Gafurov landed clearly didn't affect Castaneda as much as the one that landed against him. So Gafurov going down gives him that gave Castaneda that first round. Gafurov is just rushing forward, throwing huge hooks. He's a sloppier fighter. Castaneda getting the body lock takedown, took the back, and then they get right back up. Gafurov was throwing the sloppiest hooks ever, but they were landing. Gafurov with clash of heads, leading to a hard. Leaning in really hard and diving in with the head, almost like spearing him with the head. And then Cristignoni took a point immediately. Gafurov not able to control him on the ground. He's just back to throwing crazy hooks. Castaneda landed a hard left hand that staggered Gafurov. Gafurov's a sloppy mess on offense, but it was enough to win this round, in my opinion. I felt like he did land more damage, 29-15 for significant striking numbers. And he did, like I said, he did enough to win this round, but because he lost the point, it's 9-9, making it 19-18 in favor of Castaneda. Castaneda defending another takedown, landing a knee, then a left hand. Castaneda gets the lift takedown, staying on him in the clinch against the cage. Castaneda got another takedown, even after Gafurov grabbed the cage. Castaneda gets the mount, then the back, and in my opinion, should win this. So even though the striking numbers went 11-7 in favor of Gafurov, you look at the control time here, 22 minutes and 45 seconds. You have to give it to Castaneda. All 3 judges had it 29-27. I think they got it right there. Probably could have used some of that judging later on, even though these judges are not. I mean, they're a who's who of fuck ups. Jamie Mullarkey taking on Muhammad Naimov. Oh, this one is interesting. Mullarkey was doing really well. Naimov made weight on 3 days' notice, so that's good for him. Incredible to step up on that short notice. Naimov starting with the low kicks. Mullarkey was really good at moving the way a boxer does, dodging most of the shots, staying in range, but slipping shots well. Mullarkey with the body lock and momentarily on the ground, but then they get back up and then they separate. Mullarkey landed a low kick and then a right hand. Naimov had some moments where he lands, but Mullarkey was landing more. 23-16 for significant strikes. Clearly did more damage, landing more, throwing more, doing a better job staying in the pocket. Second round here, nice left hand from Naimov landed as Mullarkey walked forward. Mullarkey's using that jab, trying to keep the distance. There's a great spinning kick to the body from Naimov that Mullarkey gets the takedown. They get right back up. Huge left hand from Naimov land, and Naimov landed a right hand that put Mullarkey down. Herb Dean steps right in. I don't think he was out, but he was definitely hurt. So I thought the stoppage was a tad bit early. I think Herb Dean could have let it go a little bit further. It's one of those ones where Mullarkey got hit really hard and he dropped back. So Herb was already there, ready to stop the fight. So he goes in and then a couple hammer fists, and then that's why he stopped the fight, even though Mullarkey had his wits about him and he was defending. Now, when Mullarkey went to go stand up, he was wobbled. That is, I hate when the announcers bring that up like that justifies a stoppage. If that justifies a stoppage, then every single time someone gets wobbled in a fight, the fight should be over. Do you understand how stupid that sounds? Right? So logically, don't make that leap. Okay, there's nothing to do there, right? I think that the commentary team often tries to play it safe, especially Brendan Fitzgerald. I don't have a problem with him, right? I don't have a problem with Anik. I think Brendan Fitzgerald has done an excellent job. I think he stepped up quite a bit. He's probably the second best play-by-play guy in the game. I would take him over a lot of people. So if you look at in a fight the moments that happen, if somebody gets wobbled, you wouldn't stop the fight, right? No. What if he gets wobbled after he gets knocked down on the ground? Would you stop the fight? Not necessarily. No. So just because the guy is wobbled as he tries to stand back up after the fight is called off does not justify the stoppage. I'm not saying you can't mention it in addition to other things as to why the fight was stopped. I think the stoppage was fine. I really do. I think it was a little bit early, but I could see why he did it, right? He took a hard shot, he fell back, and then he was ready to stop it once those hammer fists started. Even though Mullarkey had his wits about him. We saw it in a couple weeks ago with somebody totally ready to go. It didn't matter. A lot of times here, you're seeing that all it takes is one hard shot, and the referee's ready to stop the fight now. So, it sucks for Mullarkey, but he was the one who got hit. He put himself in that position and didn't defend very well. And he can complain all he wants, but he was the one who took the shot. All right, Elise Reed taking on Jinh Frey. This fight was decent enough. Frey went to the body lock takedown, looking good early. Elise back up over 2 minutes. She spent over 2 minutes on her back, though. Well, minute and 52 is what it says. But I had her down for like 2 minutes. Reed overextends on strikes and gets taken down momentarily again. Reed was waiting too much, and Frey was making her pay with that left hand. Reed was more aggressive to end the round, Frey landing another left hand. So if you look at the striking numbers here, Reed outstruck her somehow, 14-11. I guess, but Frey definitely did more damage with her strikes, and she had control, clearly winning that first round for me, 10-9. The exchange low kicks to start the second round. Reed doing a better job using her kicks to keep distance, and then landing with the 1-2. Frey had enough of that, and she gets a takedown again. This second round was hard to score. I don't think Frey did enough damage in dominant position, so it came down to the stand-up, and then I leaned towards Reed. And if you look at the striking numbers here, she outlanded her 19-7. That makes more sense in this round. Frey had a little bit of control time, 2 minutes, well, nearly as much as she did, but she didn't do anything with it. She didn't land any good damage. She wasn't really advancing. So if the striking numbers were even, obviously Frey wins this, but they weren't, and Elise Reed did more damage on the feet. Last round here, Reed was staying aggressive, landing the kicks and staying on the outside, but then right back into the clinch. Reed was looking much better, staying active and landing damage everywhere. Reed is fresher. She looked good in this last round. She was able to land those combos now without the fear of going to the ground. Frey landed a hard right hook, but she was way behind. She didn't land enough here, didn't throw enough, to be honest with you. Reed got got this last round. The second round is the difference maker, so I gave it to Reed, but not by much. So I had it 29-28. If you look here at this last round here, 20-10 for striking numbers and very little control time for Frey. Looking at the judges' scorecards here, let's see how they had it. All three judges had it the same way. First round to Frey, second 2 rounds to Reed. So that makes sense. Good win for Reed. She has got to work on her wrestling, though. Her takedown defense and then also her stand-up from the back. She's got to do something or become super aggressive off her back and get good at submissions or something, because her striking's wicked and she's fast, but she keeps just getting taken down and controlled. She got the win here, but Damon Blackshear versus Luan Lacerda. This fight was fun. Blackshear keeping his lead leg light and using it as a front kick. Blackshear landing nice, but then he took a right hand that buckled him slightly. Lacerda against the cage with Blackshear, getting the back body lock. Lacerda drops under and tries to roll for a knee, but nothing was doing there. They get back up, Blackshear landing really well. Lacerda looking a little bit tired. Blackshear got the takedown. They get right back up. Blackshear landing so much more volume. Lacerda's getting really sloppy in this round, just trying to throw everything out there. Blackshear got that round, landing clean shots more often, and the submission was not close. He went for a knee. Lacerda went for a knee bar. It was not that close. So 10-9 to Blackshear. Second round. Blackshear is using that jab, following up with 3 or 5 shots. Lacerda landing, but it doesn't look clean. Nice uppercut from Blackshear. Again, lots of 30-17 for Blackshear in this last round, 36-11. And Lacerda attempted a takedown, went for the leg again, but Blackshear defended, laid out some damage. Lacerda spent too long looking for that leg lock and got TKO'd because Blackshear found a way to land on the face. It's one of those things. Whenever you're going for the legs, right, and you commit 2 arms to the legs, you gotta move quick. Right, this is not a safe position. You cannot sit there. You could get the finish, and it is possible to get a finish like that. We've seen it a ton, but it is not a safe position. This is not a rest position. It is active and dynamic. You need to move. You need to go for the submission. You need to adjust. You need to roll them over. You cannot sit in the same position and wait for them to make a mistake, because when they lean up and they hit you, that could be the end of the fight. And then even if it's not the end of the fight, they're scoring offense while you're sitting there waiting around for them to make a mistake. And then what could happen is you could essentially just give the round away looking for a leg lock. It happens a lot. Or not happen a lot. It doesn't happen a lot, but it has happened before. It does happen, right? And the opposite happens. Like, people do get submissions due to leg locks. They get straight ankle locks. We saw it later on in this card. They'll get knee bars every so often. Heel hooks happen. So these things are all possible. It's just when you commit your whole body, you have no defense anymore. That means anything you're doing has to be dynamic. It is not a static position. It is not a safe position. This is not a rest position, right? You need to be on the move, making them guess, making them defend, because if they have any chance to throw out offense at you, you're going to suffer. And that's exactly what happened here. So, all right. First fight of the card, Philipe Lins versus Maxim Grishin. Lins looking for the low kick and the lead left hook. Slower paced fight with clinch work against a cage. Not a ton of offense, to be honest with you. Lins was able to throw a decent amount of combos against a cage, but then right back into the clinch. Grishin was just didn't land that much in this round. Apparently he did. I didn't see it. So it's 17-16 for Lins as far as significant strikes go. I did not see it like that. I thought Lins way outlanded him. It was not the case, apparently. I still gave Lins that first round. Lins landing the lead left hook, the straight left hand landing better. That Grishin landing better, and then Grishin back into the clinch again. Grishin landed a nice elbow on the separation, but Lins fires back. Landing a right hand, a lot of clinch work again, and in space, Lins seemed to be landing the better shots. But again, you look at the striking numbers, apparently Grishin outlanded him in the second round. I didn't see it. I could be off. The numbers could be off. Either's possible, but I didn't see it. I gave Lins this round as well. Another left hook from Lins landing in this last round, an elbow from Grishin, but then right back into the clinch. Not the most interesting fight to watch. This is probably a skipper, and Lins outstruck him in this last round, 16-11. Adelaide Bird gave it 30-27, and the other two gave it 29-28. So, Lins won this fight in my opinion in every round, just because I felt like he was the one doing more damage. He was the one pushing the action, and even if he didn't do more damage, so much so that it was even, right? If the damage is even, well, he was the one pressing forward. He was the one being the aggressor in every single round. 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and 3 minutes and 40 seconds of control time. All of it in the clinch, pushing Grishin against a cage. And then you look at the striking numbers here, 36 strikes, 40 strikes from Grishin in these clinch work. It was nothing. Those are nothing. Some of them must have been counted as significant strikes when they shouldn't have been, and that boosted his numbers, because I definitely did not see it that way. All right, that is it. That is the fight night prelim. So if you're looking for the main card and the main event, that's in the last video. I will be covering, if you guys join me, I will be covering the McGregor-Chandler Ultimate Fighter season. I'm kind of excited to cover this one. I haven't watched the show in a while, but I already posted my review of the first episode and the fight that took place on that first episode. That's up as well. And then I'll be covering this next one probably on Wednesday. This seems to be probably the best day, the day after. Let it settle, let everybody kind of decide, kind of pick up on what people are saying about it, and then make comments that way. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you for stopping by. If you did like the stuff, subscribe to the channel so you know when the next video is coming out, and it does help me out as well. And if you think that I deserve it, why don't you like the video? I'd appreciate that too. So have an amazing week. Like I said, if you're looking for the main card, that's in the last video. Have an amazing week. I love y'all.